Hebrew sister, praying daily, meditating on the scriptures. Hebrew sister, princess warriors of the Most High. I'm gonna uplift my
Shalom, sisters. Call halal YAHAWAH. BAHASHAM YAHWASHI. Lord willing, sisters are doing well through the Spirit. Happy Sabbath to those sisters who are observing the Sabbath today. Lord willing, today is full of rest and edification through the Spirit. The Most High put it on my spirit to it's not a part two, but it kind of goes along with the video that I did about dealing with troubling spirits. Yesterday, I just was really meditating on my strength and where my strength comes from, and understanding that my strength comes from the Lord. And that led me to read Philippians chapter 4 and 13. But y'all, I ended up reading that whole chapter, so let me go to it really quick. So this is Philippians chapter 4 and 13. It says, I can do all things through Christ which strengthening me. So like I said, I ended up going and reading the whole chapter. And then when I was reading verse 6 through 8, it really kind of stood out to me. It says, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known unto God, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Yahushua. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. So when I read that, I was like, dang, I really gotta, kind of shift my focus and shift my mind, because sometimes things get hard and times get tough, and you feel, you can feel overwhelmed, you feel overstimulated with all the things that we have to do, trying to make time for self-care, trying to attend to the house, whether you're single or married, working, going to school, whatever, your lot may be. Sometimes things just seem really overwhelming, and, we can get flustered or frustrated or even discouraged through the Spirit. And when I was reading Philippians 4:13, and it says, which strengthening me, I had wanted to go to the concordance and see what that means, so I had looked it up. And for sisters, if y'all wanted to take notes on this, it's G1743. And it says to empower, enable, increase in strength, be or make strong. So I was thinking, like, the Lord helps us to be empowered, to be strengthened, to be made strong, that when we are weak, that that is our time of strength. There's a precept on there too. Lord willing, I can bring it out. But first I wanted to go to Matthew 7:24, just so we can see, like the difference. So lucky, y'all. I started scrolling the other way. 7:24, so we can see the difference in, having our strength in the Lord, and having our strength in, basically like anything other than the Lord. So it says, let me actually highlight it so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. We want to give our strength over to the Lord. We want to, cast those cares upon Him, so that when we do have those times where we're weak, or we feel overwhelmed, or we feel overstimulated, we can be strengthened. We can be made strong, through the Lord. And that made me, kind of start thinking about our foremothers and forefathers. And it made me think about Sirach chapter 2 and verse, let me go to it. Sirach chapter 2. Ecclesiasticus is in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 6. It says, believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord, and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear, and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. Woe, I'm going to read, to 13. So lucky, y'all. Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. So it's like, when we are thinking about, not believing that the Lord can remove these burdens, or the Lord, won't be able to remove us out of the situation that we in, we're not going to be defended. Or you say it and you don't really believe it. Like, oh yeah, I believe the Lord can take me out of this situation. I know that he can remove, this heaviness from off of me. I know that, if I continue to focus and pray and fast and, be diligent and steadfast and trying to rebuke this spirit, that the Lord will remove it. Like, the Lord knows if you wholeheartedly believe or if you're just talking. So we have to truly believe in those things, that those spirits can be removed off of us, y'all. So, like I said, it reminded me of Sarah when she prayed, and that's in the book of Tobit. It reminded me of Tobit when he prayed as well, because they got weary, but they prayed. Susanna, she got weary, but she cried out to the Most High. You actually have to make sure that you're seeking the Most High, and allow the Lord to fight for you. Allow the Lord to be your strength, to be strengthened. And I'm going to go back to that definition again. Strengthening, to empower, enable, increase in, be or make strong. So when we trust in the Lord, he's able to empower us and make us strong and help us get through, so that we can endure through that season, endure through that trial, endure through that tribulation. I'm gonna go to y'all. I'm gonna go to Psalm 105 and get in them Psalms, y'all. The Psalms, they really are really mighty through the Spirit. I think, here we go. Yep. Psalm 105 and verse 4. It says, seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face evermore. seek his face evermore. You have to actually be seeking him. I'm gonna go back to Psalms again. I got a couple in Psalms, y'all, so Cant. It says, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, and my high tower. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. And Satan is an enemy that tries to get you to be overwhelmed, that tries to get you to be, having your mind, shaking to and fro. So the things that you need to get done are not getting done. Satan does his job, y'all, and we have to do ours. We have to, like, it said in Philippians chapter 4, whatsoever things, we have to think on those things. And not only does the Lord provide us with strength, he also is our peace. And this is Psalms 29:11. It says, the Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. It doesn't say might. It doesn't say the Lord will bless his people with peace. And that reminded me of Isaiah 26. It says, Isaiah 26:3, thou will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. Trust in the Lord forever, for in the Lord YAHAWAH is everlasting strength. So in the Lord is everlasting strength that will help us be made whole in our own mind, not in us trying to take care of things ourselves, not in us, seeking everyone else and everything else but the Lord. Sometimes we have to continue to seek the Lord, and like I said, cast our cares unto the Lord. And that is 1 Peter chapter, 1 Peter 5:7. I'll read 6 too. It says, humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. So the things that we go through, we have to cast it unto the Lord. Sometimes we got to cast it to the Lord and leave it there. Sometimes it's not for us to seek sisters and get sisters to help us, or, ask for other. Sometimes it's for us to pray to the Lord and leave it there. Not pray to the Lord and talk about it. Not pray to the Lord and be like, sometimes you have to give it to the Lord and leave it there, But I wanted to get one more in Psalm. There we go. 31. And here it is. It says 31:24, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. It says he shall strengthen you. It doesn't say he might, he shall strengthen you. For the Lord already knows the things that we are going through. The Lord already knows that we're in these situations. Sometimes it's for us to be seeking the Lord 10 times more in that time period. It says, Baruch chapter 4:27, be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto God, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was your mind to go astray from God, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Sometimes it's grow closer to him in those time periods. Sometimes it's for us to remember the Lord, grow closer to the Most High, but make sure that you're seeking him and remember where your strength is coming from. And we want to remember that the Lord in these times that we feel tempted not to, I think I put the wrong precept, y'all. Hold on. Yes, it's 2nd Ezra. In the times that we feel like, we want to give up, or we don't feel like keep going forward, and, no. Know that the Lord got your back. Know that the Lord can bring you out of this. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 12 and verse 46. It says, Be of good comfort, O Israel, and be not heavy, thou house of Jacob, for the highest have you in remembrance, and the mighty have not forgotten you in temptation. I said, you might be tempted to give up. You might be tempted to be like, you know what, I'm not doing this no more. I'm too weak. I'm not strong. I don't have this. I don't have it all together. And that's okay. None of us have it all together. But remember that when we are weak, that's when we can be strong. When we, give it all over to the Most High, that's where our strength comes from. So I'm going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 8 through 10. It says, For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ YAHAWASHI may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, and persecutions, in distresses, for YAHAWASHI's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Don't be weary in well-doing, y'all. Well-doing and, continuing to fast, continuing to pray, even if you feel like, right then and there that, it might not be benefiting you. It is. It still is. And this is in James chapter 4. I found the precept. Let's go to it. We're going to go to James. Sorry, y'all. I don't know why I always start from the top and then try to go back down. It's just a habit, I guess. It says, submit yourselves James chapter 4 and verse 7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to Yahawah. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to Yahawah, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn and weep, and let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. And, sometimes, that can be hard for us to do, because we feel like, dang, how come this happening to me? How come, I already been doing X, Y, and Z. How much more can I humble myself? But humble yourself even more before the Lord. He'll bring you out of this. we just have to remember that, our strength comes from the Lord. And Lord willing, sisters can meditate on this. Lord willing, this can help sisters. But don't be weary in well doing. Remember that your strength comes from the Lord. Remember that you can do all things through Hamashiach Yahawashi that strengthens you. YAHAWAH Yahawashi. It's nothing too hard for the Lord. And He can definitely increase you at any time. The Lord is the one who bring it up from the dust and bring it low. So if the Lord is in control, He definitely got you. And don't forget where your strength comes from. Remember that. So all praises to the Most High. Lord willing, sisters can meditate on this. And Lord willing, y'all have a beautiful Sabbath. I love y'all. Shalom.